Welcome to the Bunny Show, live.
Sex saves marriages. Some say I'm a goddess with both brains and compassion. I say I'm 20% girl brain and 100% fun. I want to help you navigate the labyrinth that is the female mind. If you're not having sex with her, what are you even doing? It's only too much sex when it interferes with your mission. What we're talking about translates not only into success with women, but into social and business interactions across the board with anyone. I want you to win in life, in business, and primarily in sex. I'm like Dr. Ruth meets Nina Hartley, except I only take my clothes off in public when there's tequila shots involved. I'm so excited for the show. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to the Bunny Show Live. I am your resident sex expert, Bunny. Thank you for tuning in. So today we are going to talk about something that you might have heard me talk about either in full before or in parts for sure, because this is very much my signature belief system. If you've ever heard me talk about this entirety before, I hope you will still stick around, because you will inevitably pick up something that you haven't picked up before, or you will pick up, or I will share something that maybe I haven't shared in the same way or shared previously when we've talked about this in its entirety. So stick around no matter what, because no matter what stage you are in relationship, it is important to know how to make it the best. So what I want to talk about is the way to cure all relationships. Now, this is true, again, this is true whether you are running rotation girls and have like girlfriend candidates, if you are dating, if you're in a committed relationship, engaged, married for 1 year or 35. It does not matter. These rules are basic and apply across the board. And I hope that you will take them each and utilize them to your relationship pleasure. I do want to point out, like, this is honest to God, even if you have no intention of marrying the girl that you're dating or moving a girl who's in a rotation and is a girlfriend candidate status right now, and you have no intention of really doing anything long-term with her besides just having fun with her right now, these steps still apply, because it still maximizes your enjoyment of the relationship. And sometimes, every once in a while, unbeknownst to you, you also end up with someone that you realize you fit even better with than you thought. So, knowing these steps that we're going to discuss today goes a long way in truly, even with rotation girls, comparing girls in real time against one another and deciding who is the best fit for you. So we're going to go through my 6 steps to truly having a great relationship, and you can apply them to your life or your future life as you see fit. Number 1, never stop dating. This seems so simple. And I mean, there's even a famous movie quote from When Harry Met Sally that's, I got married. So my wife said that we could still date. I got married so I could quit dating. there are a lot of men who have that sentiment. So as soon as you get into a relationship of any kind whatsoever, even if this is only like 2 months in of dating, people, both men and women, start to get a little bit lazy. You know, you start to take less care of how you appear. You start to think less about what you're doing or having a plan. You tend to find a place that you guys both like to go together, and it becomes the place you always go together. This is where routines get into ruts really quickly. So the rule of never stop dating applies across the board to just continuing to put a little bit of effort into what the plan is, what the, you know, exactly. Eric just said, dates are supposed to be fun. Why stop? You are with this person. You're spending time with this person. You might as well put a little bit of effort into enjoying being around them. And when I say that, I get pushback like, well, I enjoy doing anything. I enjoy running errands with my man. I enjoy doing chores or just working in the yard. You do, but it's not the same. And the problem with the fact that, let's, for an example, let's say a couple just buys a house. They've been together for 3 years and then they got married, and now they've been married for a year and they've purchased a home. They genuinely enjoy doing things around the house together because this is a new experience. But the problem comes after about 6, 12, 18 months. She stops feeling like that's a fun thing to do together. She still likes and appreciates the home and doing things, and she wants to make that house a home where you're living and you're raising your future family and you're preparing for life. But that's not a date, and that's not the same thing as going out, purposefully doing something fun together and just getting out of the routine of being at home or being at work. Because the joy of adulting is that we are at one or the other place. And once kids come into the mix, you're also either at a sporting event, a birthday party, a practice, or something of that nature. So you and your person, no matter if she's, again, a girlfriend candidate, a girlfriend, a fiance, a wife of a lifetime, you still need to go out and date. This is a lesson that my father taught me very early on. We were on an early morning run before I had to go to school and he had to go to work. And he said one of the best things that my mother did whenever they were first together, and even after, like when I was a baby, was that she insisted on making sure that they had one date a week. So sometimes that may be dinner, sometimes that may be lunch, sometimes that may be, you know, going to a movie or going for drinks, along with having to run the errands or whatever. Because life happens. We have a lot of things to do, and not everyone is like me and starts to just get on the bandwagon of having everything delivered just for ease and because your time is valuable. But she wants to spend quality time with you as an adult, whether you are married for a long time or she is one of your girlfriend candidates or rotation girls. So never stop dating is a huge key to keeping the relationship fun, connected, and it focuses on you two as a couple, aside from anything else that you've got going on, because you're choosing to be with that person. You might as well make it enjoyable. Number 2, stay trim and healthy. Oftentimes, a couple they'll both be fit, they'll be thin whenever they first start dating or they meet one another, and then they just get excessively fat the longer they're together. And it's horrible to see. You know, fat bride syndrome is a real deal. And oftentimes that fat bride also has a very pudgy, if not absolutely overweight husband waiting for her at the end of the aisle. And they were not like that whenever they first met. This goes along with the getting lazy thing. This is an ever running theme through everything that I teach about attraction, dating, relationships, and sex is do not get lazy. In fact, I can cure all relationships in one tweet. Should really just be one point, and that's don't be lazy. Don't get lazy, because 9 times out of 10, you absolutely do. Jake, I see your question. That doesn't apply right now, so I'll answer it at the end, okay? So stay trim and healthy. Make sure that you're taking care of your health, because if you're not taking care of your health, you aren't going to be physically able to fuck. You're not going to be physically able to do things. You're not going to be physically able to cross the street, protect your family, protect her. You're not going to feel good. You're not going to feel your best, and you're not going to want to do things or have the energy to do things with the people who theoretically at least mean the most to you. So if you're not keeping your best health, that is a strong indicator to everyone around you that they don't really matter. It's the most selfish thing that you can do to not take care of yourself, to not lift heavy things, to keep your muscles strong, which are good for your bones, not only in bone density, but also the supporting mechanisms. All the muscles that you are keeping strong support the structure of your body. So that is important. It keeps you from injury, or it helps you recover from injury. It helps you avoid surgeries. It helps you recover faster from the surgeries you have to have. There's no downside to being trim, healthy, and a fit individual, and encouraging your girlfriends, your wife, your children, your parents, your in-laws to all fall in line with this as well. There is absolutely no downside. Good point. If a guy can't see his cock, that should be enough to legally declare him dead. 1000%. If you can't look down and see your dick, you have problems. Number 3. I get a lot of fire feedback from this. Don't put your kids or your parents ahead of your relationship. Let me explain. This is right there with don't stop dating. You chose to be together, and you are your number one priority. It's even biblical. You're at Bunny Church, so we're going to be a little bit biblical right now. It's biblical that man leaves his parents to join with his wife. You are supposed to prioritize that female person above everyone else. Now, this you're not going to prioritize. Let's be realistic. You're not going to prioritize a rotation girlfriend candidate above your parents. Let's be real here. But if you are married, if you're in a serious committed relationship, then short of emergency, and you know what a true emergency is. This isn't a hair emergency, or I just chipped a nail, or I stubbed a toe and I don't feel good. This is, if it's an emergency, yes, you need to deal with the emergency, no matter which direction it's coming from, whether it's your parents, whether it's your in-laws, whether it's your sister, your brother-in-law, your kids, your niece and nephew, whatever the case may be. Emergencies take precedence. But in the real world, in everyday life, don't put any extended family, including your own children, ahead of your spouse. If you prioritize your spouse, everything else, every other relationship falls into line beautifully. And there is no better way to raise children than to raise them seeing that you have priority with their parent, with their other parent, that that your parents love one another is a huge learning lesson for children. So don't prioritize them thinking that you're doing them a favor, because you're actually destroying your love relationship with the person that you chose to spend your life with. It's just not a good idea. Number 4, encourage one another. Now, it is my belief that women should be their man's biggest, loudest, most excited, most enthusiastic cheerleader in all things, whether it's sexually, whether it's professional wins, whether it's, that they hit a home run at the church softball, game. It does not matter. She needs to be his biggest encourager. The same thing is true, though, in reverse. Not as, okay, how do I say this cautiously without making you think that I'm trying to weaken your manhood? Guys, you need to be her encourager also. The encouragement that she gets from girlfriends, the yes girl, the oh get it bitch, whatever girls say to each other, because we say weird shit to each other all the time like that, that's like meant to be encouraging. It does not hold the same water if you are not encouraging her as well. She wants, whether it's words of encouragement, whether it's kind of, like the simple Facebook post of my girl, she accomplished this today and I'm so proud of her. You don't have to trip all over your dick to be, giving her kudos every minute and complimenting her accomplishments at every turn. But when she does something, be appreciative and be celebratory of what she's accomplished, no matter what it is. Oh my God, my girl just made the best French toast I've ever eaten. Man, she looks slamming tonight. I'm so glad I get to take this hottie out for a date. Things like this go a long way in moderation. Okay. So I'm not, again, don't trip all over yourself to compliment, to be the Mr. Nice Guy, but also don't be an asshole to your wife of 35 years. You chose to do life together, and in that, celebrating one another and your accomplishments goes a long way, because a woman who doesn't feel seen by the man that she most wants to feel seen by is just asking to be cheated on. All right, number 5, don't take your phones to bed. Every time I say this, every time I post this, one of you says, well, it relaxes me to, watch a show or a video or in bed. My wife does it too. It's fine. Listen, have you not seen the science of how bad this is for our brains? You think it's relaxing you because it's become your habit. That's not the same thing as it actually preparing your body and your brain for good sleep. Not to mention the fact, beyond that science, remember the days before, if you are old enough to remember the days before we had cell phones that were so readily with us all the time. I mean, having cell phones or having mobile phones at the time, but having cell phones and this pervasive culture that we're in right now are two very different things. But if you are both on your phones in bed, you're not talking to one another. You're not tickling one another or cuddling or even reading a book side by side together, which is what we did before. Do you know what that kind of stuff leads to? When you're in bed, even reading separate things on paper in bed, you're together. You're actually like connected in a way. You feel one another's presence. You are, rubbing up against each other. Your feet are touching. You feel the arm warmth beside you. If you're on your cell phone scrolling, you are in that world. The book or the newspaper back then isn't going to distract you your other senses. The phone, however, tends to do that. You tend to completely lose yourself there, and everything else kind of disappears. So you're not connected to the girl who's in bed next to you if you are on your phone. And the other part of that is before this pervasive culture of cell phone use in bed, especially, you know, even if you weren't each reading, you were chatting, you were talking about your day. That was maybe the first time you had actually spent one-on-one time with your girl in the day that didn't have kids or jobs or phones pulling at you. So that's when you kind of talked about your day. That's when you talked about the day to come, what the plans are for tomorrow. That's when you touch. That's when you kind of snuggle. This is important for relationship success. And this is, again, just like I said at the onset, this is true whether this is a girlfriend candidate, a pretty casual girlfriend, or you're actually trying to build a life with this person. It's still a good habit for your sleep quality and for your relationship quality to test this out and not use screens as a pacifier at night. It takes away from the sexual desire you have. It takes away from your awareness of the other person. It takes away all of your attention from the person that you are theoretically focused on in that moment. So if you're there sharing space with someone, and I will just kind of like bunny trail off here for a second, because this is also true for families who sit around, everyone on their phone at dinner instead of speaking to one another. This is just a very sad chain of events that's occurring where families they have dinner together, but that's not the same thing as having dinner together, actually sharing a meal and sharing that time to kind of talk to one another and be a family together. So don't take your phones to bed. That is what the rule is. And last but absolutely not least, never, never, never stop fucking. Never stop fucking. The only exceptions to this rule are truly surgical. If she just had a baby, then she can't have penetration, and I think it's 6 weeks. If you're healing from a surgery of any kind, that's probably going to take sex off the table for a bit. But short of that, sex is the absolute glue to every romantic-based relationship. If you're choosing to spend your life with someone, or if you're just choosing to spend your time with someone right now and sex is off the table, it's no different than you hanging out with a buddy. And likelihood is, if you're not having sex with someone that you're even married to, you probably don't have a very good life with them outside of the bedroom either. There's probably very poor communication, very, very poor partnership, co-parenting. It's probably all a shit show. You probably argue too much. There's all kinds of things that happen that are negative, that happen when you do not have a strong sexual connection. Now, everyone's never stop fucking is a different number. So there's people who get cranky if they don't have sex every day. There are people who think that having three times a month sex is pretty fucking awesome. So wherever you are on the spectrum, whatever your kind of ideal number is, and I talked a lot about this in my 21-day sexual immersion. I'm sorry, that's not true. I talked a lot about this in my Ignite Your Wife 30-day sexual reset course. I talked a lot about this. I devoted an entire day of study to talking about what your ideal sexual number is. How many times is satisfying to you? How many times a week, how many times a month is satisfying to you, because there are an awful lot of people who are having way too little sex, even for their own desires. And oftentimes women will get on board. You just have to lead them from the front. If you haven't led from the front, if you haven't led this sexual relationship from the get-go, then you're going to have to course correct. And that is what my Ignite Your Wife sexual reset course is truly all about. I don't even think the link is in the description below. But if you go to myplayboysbunny.gumroad.com/ignite, then you'll find it. Anyway, you've got to figure out what your ideal sexual number is, and then decide that your girlfriend, your wife, your significant other is not going to be just a buddy, just a pal, or an enemy that you share space with. It's going to be that girl, that woman is going to be your sexual partner, which is how you designed it from the get-go. You did not marry a woman, stand up at the altar, and say, I'll love you forever and I never want to have sex again. No, you stand there and you go, we're going to have hot married sex the rest of our lives, and we're going to be the exception. You know, all of our friends have been complaining that, you know, the sex stops whenever they got married, but we're going to be the exception. There's no couples that are engaged that aren't going, oh, we're going to be the exception to that rule. And then it happens. And you're the one who let it happen because you stopped fucking and you stopped prioritizing your sexual relationship, which is the only thing that separates your relationship from a coworker or the coach of your kid's soccer team or your best friend or your drinking buddy. If you're not fucking the person that you are with, then you are effectively ruining your relationship with that person. So never stop dating. Stay trim and healthy. Don't prioritize kids or parents over your significant other. Encourage one another. Don't take your phones to bed, and never, never, never stop fucking. These are critical elements. In the beginning of the chat box, I also said, if you buy one thing for me today, I would really love it if it were my female orgasm guide. Because if you are a guy who just gets it, then you're a guy who knows how to give not only one girl, but all the girls that you ever sleep with, that orgasm that makes her want to come back for more and more and more. So I hope that you will pick that up. If you want to scroll to the top of that screen, myplayboysbunny.com/female O, and that will get you there. And it's also in the description box down below. I am going to find that question that I just got to earlier in the show. I know it was about wives and cheating. And I also wrote a book on wives and cheating. So if you'd like to pick that up, I believe it's called myplayboysbunny.com/ women cheating. Thank you. So check that out. It also is in the description box down below. So the question from Jake is, what percentage of married women cheat in your opinion? In my, we've talked a lot about this. We even did a podcast on, hey baby, can you find our podcast that we did on that? Yes. Yeah, I know. It's been a while, but we did a podcast, and we had done a survey. We had posted a survey that got a lot of great responses. Who cheats more? And we talked about men who are unmarried, just in dating relationships, men who are in married relationships, women who are just dating, women who are in married relationships. And we really talked through this at length based on the survey results and the conversations that started. And it's really a good one. So Fort Worth is going to put that in the chat box once he finds it. That's not always an easy task off the cuff, but he's pretty good at it. But in the meantime, I will say what was interesting about that survey and what Fort Worth and I mainly pinned in on was that men tend to consider themselves cheating as almost a non-event in a lot of ways. They're meant to spread their seed. They're meant to fuck as many girls as possible. They're meant to, impregnate as many girls as they can. This kind of thing is a standard issue male mentality. And then also men who are dating, who are not yet married, but are cheating, tend not to think of it as cheating. Girls who are dating, it's cheating if they sleep around on their boyfriend or they're seeing someone else on the side. So there's that debate. There's that kind of like a secondary debate. And then there's the married men and women who cheat. And I believe this is just my opinion to answer the actual question, which was what percentage, in my opinion, of women cheat on their husbands. My opinion is that they cheat about the same amount. But let me explain. I definitely think that women are sloppier about it. I definitely think that women get caught more, even though women are the nosiest human beings on the planet. So, they're going to make more of a show of it if they find their man cheating. But really, I believe it's more true that women just get a little bit less cautious about it. I think that women cheat oftentimes with the subconscious intent on getting caught because they are missing something in their relationship. They're not getting attention. They're not feeling the security. They're trying to exit this relationship and they're trying to establish a new one before they jump ship, because hypergamy is a real thing and women have to feel secure in order to jump ship from a relationship 99.99% of the time. There are very few exceptions to this rule. So I believe that women cheat relatively an equal amount. And I don't have the scientific data here, but this is all also always based on self-reporting. So there's that element to it. You can't even trust the data that you find because it's all based on self-reporting. So I do believe that women get caught more. I think that men and women cheat about equal amounts. I think that women get caught more because I do believe that they view sex in a different light than men. Men cheat because they want variety. They want to change it up. A lot of times it doesn't mean that they don't love and adore their wife or their girlfriend. They genuinely just kind of need a refresher. Things have gotten a little bit boring. And instead of, actually putting that effort into their wife or trying to spice up the marriage, so to speak, they cheat. They go after, the secretary who's always flirting with them, or the barista who, makes their coffee every morning. Whatever the case may be, they have a little fling. Sometimes it turns into more, but oftentimes men just need the variety. And it's just sex. So I think that there's that caveat. But when women do it, it truly is for the attention. It's because they're attention seeking. It's because they don't feel fulfilled. It's because they are learning to hate their husbands or their decision, and they're never going to admit that. So in the background of their minds, I think a lot of women are hoping in a way that girls will get caught in a way, because that will be a forcing mechanism to make them jump ship and either go to the next cock or have to land on their feet and figure it out. But either way, I definitely think that women are sloppier about their cheating, but I think it probably happens about equal amounts. Let's see. Pardon? Well, Eric just says, does your Fuck Like a Porn Star book also cover guidelines on fucking raw? And it doesn't, because that's more of a personal preference. A lot of guys don't want the deadened sensation. They want to actually feel that, sexual connection. They want to feel the skin on skin. I don't blame you. I don't like condoms myself. I think they're gross. They smell bad. They're weird. I like it. It feels different for girls also. So it doesn't, my Fuck Like a Porn Star book or course does not cover, railing girls raw, but I do believe that there is a time and a place for everything. If you're with a new girl and you know that she's a one-off, or you know that she's just a one-night stand, or that she's also fucking everyone in town and you're fucking your way through town, it'd be a really good idea to cover that thing up. If you're with your wife and just trying to prevent pregnancy, that gets a little bit tricky, because you just have to kind of go by, I would say, what pleasures you and what you enjoy the most. That's a terrible answer to that question, but it does not cover it, because I feel like it's very much a case-by-case basis on what you enjoy, what she enjoys, and what your ultimate goals are. If preventing disease and if preventing pregnancies are super high on your list, then I suggest you wrap that thing up. All right. I have not seen any other questions come through. I am loving this show. I love my Sunday mornings with you guys. And I'm also loving every Monday through Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Wake Up with Bunny. I literally grab my water and my coffee, open my computer, and we go through whatever is the latest and greatest on the internet at that moment. So it's a fun way to wake up. It's a fun way to start my day. I've really enjoyed starting my day with so many of you, and really appreciate you tuning in. It's a 30-minute show. I keep it short, sweet, and to the point. And mainly my goal with that is to kind of decipher what you're seeing on the internet through my girl brain lens. So if you haven't gotten a chance to tune into that yet, I hope you will. It's a lot of fun, and it's fun to watch. If you miss it the first round and you don't join in the conversation, it's very conversational. If you're talking to me, I'm going to talk to you too. And we all kind of dive into this together. But if you miss it live and miss that live opportunity to join in the conversation, I have been posting that show the next morning at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, so that you can watch it in full on X or Twitter. Good morning, Renee. Good morning. So I hope that you're tuning in into that. And if you are, I hope you're enjoying it. Also, remember, on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. is the Morning Hustle with Fort Worth and Buddy, where I get my handsome man up here and we really dive into current events and the latest stuff that's going on. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. Again, if you buy anything from me today, I would love for it to be my guidebook to the female orgasm. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Remember, I want you to win. Bye. Now I have to make that annoying noise. Bye.